Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Jacqueline King. I am the CEO and founder of Black Women Empowered. And as you know, we do bring amazing people to you that are doing amazing things in the world. And of course, today will not disappoint you. You all have been waiting for Miss Malinda Williams. How you doing, Malinda?
I'm doing well. How are you? And everyone who has joined this broadcast, thank you and welcome.
Well, thank you so much. It's an honor and a pleasure to connect with you. And I've seen you on TV, and you look just as beautiful in person. And I know before I get started, you started. I saw you started in cosmetology. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I went to cosmetology school, beauty school, as we used to call it back then, right out of high school. I always thought that I would have a career in in the beauty industry, and certainly if in the entertainment industry, I would be a hairstylist, a makeup artist, something in that area. But when I came to LA as a young adult, I also had acting under or some television and film under my belt. So I wound up doing a television show, and then from there I just kept working as an actress. So I never got to sort of make that one part of my dream come true. Um, service service wise.
Hmm. So, but your makeup is always flawless. You do your own makeup.
I still do my own makeup. I still do my own hair. I mean, that's why I said in serving others, I never got to do it in that way, but I always had an affinity for hairstyling, doing makeup, nails, glam, like the whole thing, simply because that's part of my background. It's something that I've always loved. My mother did hair, and so it's just always been a part of me.
Oh wow, that's great. And you know,
Mhm.
we as women, we love hair and makeup.
Don't we?
Uh, yes,
Yeah.
girl. Yeah. So that's a great start. So how did you transition? Did you go to school for acting, or how did that work?
I have gone to school, to different schools for acting. I didn't go to college for it, but I certainly have gone to different Playhouse West in Los Angeles. I went to school in New York as well. But I actually started in the industry when I was 10 years old. I started as a model, a child model. And I think around 12 or so, I did my first television commercial, and then just kind of naturally transitioned from TV commercials to then film and then television shows. So it's just kind of like something that I did. For me, it was almost like extracurricular. Like, sometimes parents will put their children in soccer or
Mhm.
ballet. For me, it was modeling. I would go to New York City, I would do a modeling gig, and then I would, just come home and be a regular kid. So for me, it was just like extracurricular. And then I kind of turned it into a career in my, I guess, late teens, early 20s, maybe is when I began to take it more serious in that way. Like, oh, I could monetize this over a lifetime.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know Melinda, which that'd be hard to do, Melinda is an American actress, producer. She began her career on television before appearing in films A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, High School High, The Wood, and from 2000 to 2004, Melinda starred as Tracy Bird Van Adams in the Showtime drama series
Soul
Soul Food.
food.
Yes, girl, we're going to talk about that. For which she received three NAACP Image Awards, Outstanding Actress in a Drama Series nominations, and after starring in the short-lived NBC drama series Windfall, you returned to film, playing supporting roles in Idlewild, Daddy's Little Girls, First Sunday, and 2 Days in New York. All right, let's go on to Soul Food. Now, how was that? How was that kind of coming behind Nia Long to be Bird? Because everybody, everybody loved Bird.
Well, everybody loves soul food, and I think that's really what it was about. It was about that franchise. It was about a black drama that hadn't been done before. Nia's amazing, and she was amazing. Everyone was amazing in that film. So there was no pressure for me. It was just understanding how to fill my own shoes rather than someone else's. Right? I understood the role. I understood how to be a baby sister. I come from a family of three women, of which I am the baby sister. And at the time, my life was sort of paralleling the character's life as well. So it wasn't difficult at all to embody what, I essentially already knew. It was already, and I believe in destiny, right? I believe you come here to do certain things, and I believe playing the character of Bird in the TV series Soul Food was a part of my destiny, or is a part of my destiny. I actually auditioned for the film, but not for the role of Bird. I auditioned for the role of the cousin when they were making the movie. And I just remember being devastated. Like, I was devastated that I did not get that role, because I did everything that I thought I was supposed to do, rehearse, research, to be in that film, because I wanted so much to be a part of that story. And then several years later, I don't recall now how many years later we did the TV series, but when I got cast, it wasn't even when I got cast. It was like maybe a year or two into playing the role that I realized, oh my gosh, I didn't get that role because you were saving me for this role, right?
And you
And
know what? That's what
so
I was getting ready to say. I was just getting ready to say, God had something better for you. And does isn't that how he does things? When you think, I mean,
absolutely.
I've had it happen so many times. When you think he's taking something away from you, then he comes up with something much better.
Yeah.
That's an awesome story.
Yeah,
Uh,
a good friend of mine terms it as he's saving you, he's reserving this other spot for you, and he's preserving you for that thing. So that was one of my great lessons. It's like, no, you can't miss out on what is for you. And sometimes, when I was younger, I would be disappointed about missing out on things. And now that I'm older and much wiser, and certainly more seasoned, I don't have any regrets. And if something doesn't happen or work out for me, I know that's the way it's supposed to work out, and that means God does have something greater, better, different, or certainly tailor made for me.
Absolutely. And that's how he does it. But back to soul food. So, the food looks so good. The cooking, and that's really our staple.
Yeah.
Sunday dinners, the family coming together with macaroni and cheese, collard greens, yams, all that stuff. Um,
Mhm.
talk about, is that how your life, you grew up on having the big Sunday dinners as well?
We didn't grow up having big Sunday dinners per se, but we grew up sitting down at the table, sitting down to the table at night regularly, nightly.
Mhm.
I definitely come from a very close knit family, and for us, my parents taught us that we were the most important thing, like our family, our sisters. No one comes before the family. No one comes before your sister. And so our ties are strong. Yeah, our bond is strong.
That's awesome. And like you say, that that whole soul food thing, it it warmed people's hearts because that's what we do. Everything usually comes around the kitchen table. We sit down and we talk about how our day was, and discuss things as family in most houses. So that movie right there, girl, that's gonna
Yeah,
always be a favorite. And the series is what's always gonna be a favorite because it's around something that brings us together, and it's positive. We can get played in some stereotypical roles, and you already know it. Some of the things where we always got to be comedians or this or that. So to me, it shows us in another light, as I see it. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it shows us in all different lights, right? So you say positive, but thinking back, it wasn't all positive. You know what I mean? There were things in that show that people could certainly have deemed as negative storylines, right? But what I
Mhm.
always say is that it's not about being positive, negative. It's about portraying us in a correct light, right? So we don't always want to show the bright side of who we are because that's not realistic, right? We come in many different shades, tones, facets. Like we walk different we travel different roads in life, and so I think that's one of the things that stories like Soul Food portrayed. It portrayed all different parts of who we are. You know, we all have a questionable crazy uncle. We all have, spoiled rotten young baby sister. You know, we all have these archetypes in our families, and so I think Soul Food explored many of those archetypes, and that's why it was so relatable.
Hmm. Okay. Well, let's jump real quick to Daddy's Little Girls, because that's another one of my favorites, and that is, kind of, it's kind of iffy too. So, how did you feel playing the role in that film?
I'll tell you, it was good to work, but I it was so long ago and I don't really remember too much about that. I mean, I don't watch the films that I work in. I may watch them once, but I definitely don't watch them more than once, and I don't really recall too much about Daddy's Little Girls. It's interesting because people come up to me, and it may be because it was so quick. My role was pretty small in that movie, although it was a big movie. My role was pretty small in it, so I probably only worked on it a few days, right? But it was really great working with Tyler Perry. It was great working with Gabrielle Union, and I know you mentioned Idris, and I said I really didn't work much with him because although we were in the same film, we didn't really have scenes together. So,
Yeah,
but I know people really appreciated the movie. It was a good movie, so I
it
was
really
glad to
was.
be a part of it.
You've played in great movies. So now that
Yeah,
you are, I guess, more seasoned, let's say that's
yeah.
what you call it. What are you doing now?
Well, I've sort of transitioned, and I hesitate because I feel like I've always been an entrepreneur, right? Because I've always had some kind of side business or been doing something else alongside my acting career, right? Um, but I launched a business recently called She's Got a Habit, and it's a wellness focused multi-vendor marketplace that provides a platform for women entrepreneurs. And we encourage women to cultivate a, a life of wellness through practicing good habits, essentially. And the way it came about was just kind of this whole influencer culture. Black women have always been influential, right? We have always been um, quiet as it's kept. We have always been the mark, the for beauty, right? Although we haven't always been visible in the way that says, oh, you are beautiful, um, you are the North Star, right? We're only coming to recognize that now. And sort of fashionistas, right? And so I launched this website a few years back called She's Got a Habit. And quickly after I launched it, I was having some success, and I realized, listen, this is a platform that's greater or potentially greater than just you, especially if you have a platform in social media where you could help to amplify other women who have different styles, who can share their gifts, can share their products that they either sell or manufacture, hand make. So I turned it into a multi-vendor platform, and so entrepreneurs can sell on the platform. You can come and make purchases on the platform. We also have a community portal. We throw events. um, we just had our first, well, no, our second brunch in October, which is a women's empowerment brunch. So during the season that it has been COVID, I've really been focusing on the business and being an entrepreneur more so than on my acting career. I think I mentioned to you that I started in the business when I was 10 years old. And so, having started so young, I feel like I've covered so many, I've achieved a lot that I wanted to achieve in the industry. And it's always been about presenting a platform, presenting a vision of and for Black women. And so, in this part of my life, I think, well, how can I do that differently? Um, where it's not just about film and television and someone else is controlling the narrative or someone else is controlling the image, where I'm
I
putting
love
out
that.
the story that that resonates with me.
I absolutely love that. I hope that we can work together because I think that there's a lot of synergy in what we do as well as what you do.
Yeah,
Um, would love to connect and see how we can, come together and make a difference as a partnership. But
awesome.
that is so great that you're doing that because a lot of times people tend to get um, focused on themselves, and
Hmm.
this is true.
Yeah,
And it's not just an acting. Okay, okay, I want to be a star. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be this. I want to be that. But I always say, Melinda, that God has given us gifts and talents, and He's blessed us to be a blessing. And so that's really how I have lived my life, giving back because he continues to bless me. And one thing that I know for sure, he will give you the desires of your heart. And so if you take care of his business, he's definitely going to take care of yours. And I'm a witness, you're a witness.
that's right.
So that's a beautiful thing that you're doing. I love that. Where was your brunch at? Are you in California?
We are in California. It was in Los Angeles at in West Hollywood at this really beautiful, beautiful hotel that's like kind of all natural. Everything in there is sustainable and reclaimed from the land here in I think mostly in Northern California. Some from the fires that happened. And it's a really beautiful hotel called the One Hotel. But we had it there, and yeah, we're definitely having another one this coming year. We have a few other events planned as well. And like I said, we have a community portal on She's Got a Habit where you can join and be a part of the community and find out about the events that will also eventually open up a little bit wider than, that's part of my vision, to be able to bring many, many more women to the table each year as we grow.
And I love that. We do that too. One thing that I love about the sisterhood is what I call it is
Yep.
there really is enough for everybody. We don't have to be competition. We don't have to worry about each other because honestly, there are enough women to go around to be able to empower, uplift, encourage, and motivate. So kudos to you,
Thank
Queen. We
you.
call each other queens in our network.
I will.
So
Yes,
Queen,
we do, Queen. And let me just say this: the message that there is not enough does not come from within. It comes from without. Ironically, think about the word without. And so I always, one of the things that I do is, just in my whole women's empowerment, it always starts with self. It's got to be self-empowering, right? But then once you are full, you really are full, your cup is running over, you have to pour into others. Otherwise you can't hold it to yourself. You can't, right? So I too, if you remember, I said my parents told me that the most important thing is my sister, is our sisters, right? And so I don't just have my blood sisters. I have my sister girlfriends. I have my sister network, and I have a web of sisters globally who also can feed me and need to be fed by me. So the message that, that we've been getting all of these decades, centuries even, that there is not enough, that we have to be in competition with one another. That's not something that is of us. That's not from us. And so now I think we've come to a time where we are realizing that it's time for us to nurture one another, right? Self-care, nurture self, right? But going within to sit to find out, oh wow, there is plenty, there's so much here. I'm so full. And I'm so full that I can now offer some to others who, when she becomes full, she'll offer some to another as well. And so that's part of what, is it's fascinating, it's fulfilling. People think, oh, you do movies and that's great and that's glamour, and it's great, that's wonderful, and it's fulfilling. But this thing, pouring into others and sharing with others and offering tools, resources, and um, just experiences to others, is, I can't tell you, it's 10 times more fulfilling than anything else I've done.
I love it. That's the reason God brought us together. And honestly, I didn't know a whole lot about your network. I didn't. So I just feel so I feel so grateful, so honored that God would connect us. And we're on the same path of lifting each
There's
other.
no accident. This is not by accident. Yeah.
No, and so I'm just like yeah, I'm very very pleased with what you're doing. I'm thankful for what you're doing, and I encourage, and I do this all the time, others to get on board.
Yeah.
Um, God has given each one of us gifts. My gift night is not your gift. A lot of people say, you are a social media guru, and that is my gift. But you have a gift too. You
Mhm.
can use your gift to bring people up, just like I use mine. We all have them, but you have to tap into them. So let me ask you, I'm going to shift fear. For what I understand, fear is the biggest hindrance to moving forward. Do you agree? And how have you overcome that? Or have you ever had been afraid?
It's so funny. I posted recently on my Twitter and my Instagram account that I'm literally, something scares me every day. I feel fearful, if you will, or nervous about something every day, whether it's sending an email, whether it's, just trying something new or different. It's almost on a daily basis. But I also feel like fear is my enemy. It's the one thing that could, if I let it win, it will win. I will be defeated. And so I'm more fearful, if you will, of defeat than anything else. So I have to push through, because I don't want to get stuck. I don't want to say I didn't even try. Like, that to me is my greatest. I don't even like to use the word fear, but if you want to use that, that's my greatest fear, to not try. And I realize, once I try something, it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm still here. Everything is still okay. No, whether they're judging me or not is not, I don't care. I'm moving, I moved forward to something that, and that is I moved forward in something, and that is an accomplishment for me. So I'm proud of myself, if nothing else. And 9 times out of 10, it's not, you don't just get to be proud of yourself. You actually accomplish something. You move the needle forward. You put a brick in the building that you are, creating, in your vision, in your dream. If you move through something, you've knocked that hurdle out of the way. You never have to face that exact same thing again, because you've conquered it.
I love that. And we, with each step forward, yeah, we are, I mean, cuz what I found out with a lot of women is that, like I said, they let fear just stop them dead in their tracks. So being in the corporate America for 27 years, and you from New Jersey, so you already know what the
Yeah.
setting was like in the company that I worked for, which was
Oh,
pretty white male dominated. And I ended up in management, with company card, expense account, and all that. But it came with a price. It
Yeah.
came with a price, and I'm telling you, the stuff that I went through, I'm writing a book, is unreal. But with each obstacle, I made it to the next level. And so, the saying is, you take one step and God will take two, has always happened with me. But if I had let fear hold me back, first of all, I tell people all that there would be no Black women empowered. Because believe me, when I started it 10 years ago on Facebook with 200 women, I remember going in and just encouraging women every single day. And nobody was even typing anything. And I'm like, God, are you sure? Because I don't even know if these people are even reading this.
Yeah.
And then just one day it just exploded,
Yeah.
and it
I,
exploded, and it exploded.
I've always, again, one of the I have tools, or certainly I've created tools for myself. Back when affirmations weren't so popular, declaring things for yourself, and it really was just about God has not given me a spirit of fear, like just claiming these things over yourself, even from scripture, right? I've always spoken those things over myself because that's what my mother taught me. And now, in part of my sharing those tools and resources with other women, I've created, and over the years, I've created my own affirmations. Like I said, I had affirmation cards 25 years ago that I still have to this day, that I would recite in my own experience, in my own life, to myself in the mirror, before I would do a movie, before I would go into an audition. I had tools that would be able to so counter some of the messages that I would get. Oh, that's impossible, you can't do that. Or, oh, I don't know if that's going to work out. Nope, I've got my cards, and this is what I tell myself. And so I'm actually creating a card deck, or I have created a card deck that will also be for sale on She's Gotta Have It in 2022. And I'm writing a book as well. And again, it's like I've had all of these experiences, but I didn't know these things when I was 27. I was being prepared, I was being qualified, I was going through something so that I could then help someone else through their going through something later. And I think that's where we are in our lives today, Jacqueline, where we can really, like, we have understanding. We don't know it all, but we certainly have more understanding than we did when we were our younger selves.
I love that. So, how do you deal with negative people, negative thoughts, negative things?
So it's very interesting because I will say this, and I'm just going to be real frank. The enemy has tricks. The enemy is always trying to infiltrate, especially when you are being obedient, when you are listening, when you are doing what you are called to be doing and walking in your purpose. The enemy is always trying to come at you from all these different angles, right? Which is why you need the word, you need your resources, you need your faith, and you need to be vigilant daily in your walk, whatever that is, right? Negativity has no place in my life. It has no place in my circle. If you are negative, I got to get off the phone with you. I got to cut you. It's like a cancer. You got to cut it out. I recently had very recently, in fact, had an encounter with someone who didn't know me, wasn't a friend of mine, but was sort of like someone who I would be doing business with, and someone who was charged with potentially helping me to grow my business in a specific area and in a specific way. And after having had a conversation with that person, I said, listen, I know immediately I'm not going to give this a chance to grow, to get it. It got under my skin in a way that was like, this doesn't feel right. And I always say, if something doesn't feel right, you go with that, because one of the things we also need to do a lot more is tap into our powers, our intuitive knowing, right? God gave us that gift as well, and I think we don't as women, we don't trust it enough. The voice that speaks to you first is the voice that knows. And so the voice that said, that's not right, that's not for you, it was an example that said, listen, don't go to sleep. Don't rest on your laurels. Always stay alert, stay woke, as they say,
Mhm.
because there's still he's still seeking to devour, and I'm not here to be devoured. So how do I deal with negativity? I don't. I give it, I cut it off. Like, you can't, you you have no place here.
I love that. And look, I keep saying there's a reason God brought us together. It's the same thing, because actually it will destroy you,
Yes,
and it will keep you from getting to your God-given purpose. And that's the plan. That's the devil's plan, to keep
that's the
you
plan.
from moving forward.
Yeah,
And if you allow it, then he is not defeated. He has won.
that's
So
right.
I absolutely love that. Yeah, I do the same thing. And people, that they'll say, you're an ice queen. I'm not. I love people. I love hard. But let me tell you, I will not let you come in and destroy my peace,
Nope.
or BW the platform. This is my baby. You're not coming in here with foolishness. I'm telling you, done. I'm done. Gone.
Yeah,
You know what
ma'am,
I'm
you got to
saying?
go.
Gotta go, girl. I
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
So you
I
said
always,
you.
I protect fiercely. I protect my family. I protect my self-esteem first and foremost. My
Absolutely. Mhm.
self-esteem is the most important. It's the thing we have that will keep us moving. Whenever we fall down, it's the thing that's going to make sure that we get back up, because we're going to fall down, right? That happens. It's part of life, learning and lessons. But when you keep your self-confidence and your self-esteem intact, that is a very powerful tool that will help get you out of that valley, and back climbing the mountain.
Yeah, and like you said, your faith. You said you were brought up in the church.
Mhm.
How has that played a major role in your life?
Well, I think it's, it, faith is everything. So having the faith, and always having a foundation, to come back to, and not, I say come back to, because maybe, I don't want to say I ever left, but sometimes you go, and you go, you think you know best. This is part of your learning in life. You think you have the answer. You think you know best. You hear, but you don't follow through. You're not obedient, right? And so having that foundation, um, it's like there's a remembering always. When God pricks you, he pricks you from your memory, but also from your internal understanding, your internal knowing, like, wow, this feels familiar. And so now, as a grown woman, I realize that it's familiar because of my upbringing, but it's also familiar because of my inner standing. It's a kingdom familiarity, not just a church familiarity, if that makes sense. It's like I have a even deeper understanding in a very personal way that I didn't know I would have. Even when I was in the church, I didn't know that as a younger woman. But as I got older and had these experiences, and then understood what happens when you walk in obedience, you get an even deeper and greater knowing. You get a deeper understanding of your purpose, and why you were brought here.
And it's your foundation.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. I mean, we had, being that my grandfather was a pastor, I felt like when I got grown, I said, God, I need reprieve. I don't want to go to church no more. I was in church like Monday through
Yeah.
Sunday,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
But that is our foundation,
Yeah.
and that's what will get you through those hard situations when you reach back and grab some of that, teachings that you got, when you were in the church.
Yeah.
That's your solid rock. On
Yeah.
Christ, the solid rock I stand. That's it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to have gone through it myself. So let's talk about motherhood. How
Mhm.
is that for you?
Well, my son is 22, and
Okay.
he's grown and off to college. Motherhood has been amazing. It was, I think I had a really easy time as a mother. I will say that because I always say I only had one. I had planned to have more, but he was such a good baby that I thought this is a trick. This is a trick. You try and trick me into having more because then this is not going to happen twice. Um, so I had a really good time being his mom, and then also, not just being a mother, but being learning so many things about myself as I was mothering, if that makes sense. That's part of, I always respected him as a soul. I always respected him. Like I treated him as a child. Like, he had the understanding of a child, yes, but he also was a soul, and he always felt like a very old soul. And he taught me a lot. Spiritually, he taught me a lot.
Motherhood. I have two, and mine
Hmm.
are 9 years apart because I really thought I was just going to have one too.
Oh,
But I ended
okay.
up having one 9 years later. And it does. You learn a lot about yourself. Did you find that you treated him or did a lot of things that your mother did, or did you kind of pave your own way as a
I
mother?
think because like I said, my mom raised girls. So we didn't really know
Very
anything
good.
about boys. Ironically, we all had boys. My sisters also have boys. We don't have any girls. So my parents don't have any female grandchildren. They only have males. So it was very different. It was very new. And then, like I said, it was a lot easier. I kind of am grateful for that. I was like, I wanted all boys because I didn't want to have to do their hair, didn't want to have to match socks, things like that. So it was. I think it was a little bit different, but obviously you draw on what you know or what your experience was of being raised. You definitely draw on that information. Like there's no way not to.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I had one of each, and there's a very, very strong difference between
Yeah.
a boy and a girl,
Yep.
especially if they're 9 years apart, because they both think that they're only
Right.
children.
Right.
But yeah, motherhood is very special. So, what advice would you give our women who are struggling to find themselves, to find their purpose, to uh, to be who God has called them to be?
Mm, interesting. Well, I think the first piece of advice I would give first and foremost is say to ask. Right? Ask and it is given is a real thing. Seek and you shall find is a real thing, right? Because when I was, I would say 20, maybe a long time ago, I remember asking, just like talking out loud, right, in my own space, wherever I was, to God, and just saying, look, I need you to show up where I am. I'm going to the post office today. Show up at the post office for me. I'm going to the grocery store. Please show up at the grocery store. And so that was me essentially, I didn't know it at the time, but that was me essentially saying, I need you to show up in my daily work walk, not just on Sunday morning. I'm not at church on Thursday afternoon. I am at work on Thursday. I'm on set, or, so be there with me in those places. And so that was me asking. But then when you ask, you have to be ready to receive. right? And in receiving, you have to recognize God in those places, right? So you think, well, you asked God to show up for you at the post office. How is God at the post office? I promise you, there are things that happen at the post office that only God could. You, something happen and you go, oh my God, I know that's you. It can only be you. So those things were the things I began to understand, of how spirit walks with you, right? But then coming to a place, when you really need something, when you are struggling, you just ask in the moment, I need you to take away this struggle and replace whatever the struggle is with struggle. I need you to handle this specific thing right here. And I'm going to go take a bath, go for a walk, forget about it. I'm not going to stress about it. They say, if you're going to worry, don't pray, right? Don't ask for it if you're going to worry about it, because then you're meddling in what I call the answer, coming to you. Like it's coming. Like if there's a metaphor, it's coming. And then you start worrying and it's halted right here. It stops until you stop worrying about it, and then it can just gently wash over you. But I say ask. I ask every day for what I want, and I write it down. I write down what I want. And when I tell you everything I ask for, everything, and you got to be careful what you ask for, because everything I ask for, I have gotten. And so now I've gotten to the place where I even say, show me what to ask for. What is it that you would have me ask for? That's the place that I've gotten to, where it's like, even plant the seed in my own mind of what it is my desire is, that's in alignment with your will for me.
I love
That's and again, so people are out here trying to figure it out on their own. They're trying to do it, they're trying to find the answers. And it's like, listen, God gives you all the answers. He sends you people. He opens doors. Sometimes I got to a thing in my life, and just, one little thing I want to share. There was a point, and there have been many points, but there's one point in my life where I was struggling financially. And I remember reading this book, and the book talked about, oh no, you have to count every single little thing as money in the bank. Like, I would always think, if I don't have a check, if I don't get a check today, or if I'm not doing a job, or if I'm not working, then I'm not being blessed, or I'm not making money. And I remember it saying, just practice this one little thing. Every day that you go to the mailbox that you don't get a bill, count that as money in the bank. And I said, oh yeah, because that's money still left in my bank. So I count every day I went to the mailbox and didn't see a bill. I would, give thanks, give praises, be grateful for money in the bank. And so then that led to new and other practices of me, understanding where blessings are coming from that I was ignoring because it didn't look like cash, or it didn't in my hand. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And uh God blesses us in so many ways. And I have to, I post about this all the time.
Mhm.
I mean, if you didn't die from COVID, I'm just being real.
Mhm.
If you have family members who didn't die from COVID, that's a blessing.
That's
That's
right.
a blessing, because a lot of people did.
Yeah.
If and I tell them, if you woke up and you're reading this message, that's a blessing. You didn't have to be here.
Yeah.
So I consider all those just as good or better than money, because look, you can't do nothing if you ain't here. You don't need the money if you're gone.
Yeah.
And for prayer, man, prayer is like so essential. Uh, for me, people laugh at me. I pray if I lose my keys. I know you probably do it too. If I lose my keys, okay, God, I don't know where I put them. You laughing because you probably, God, show me,
I do the
and
same
he
thing.
right there. Does it? Is that right? How you do it?
I go, look, I'm stop looking. Just show me where they are. And I will go do
Yes.
something else. And then I'll go do something else. I'm like, oh, there they are right there. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It just doesn't fail. God is there. My dissertation for my doctorate was the Bible, the Christian's roadmap to life.
Mm.
If people would understand that any question that you have is there, the answer is there.
The
That
answer
I know
is
that's
there. I'm
the
telling
answer
you again, it's
is.
just it's something I get. I don't know when other people get it, but I got it. I started getting it in my 30s, like, but in my 30s I still was a little bit more stubborn than I am now in receiving. Like, well, it can't be that simple. It can't just be that easy. I got to go do some work to look for this answer. And it's like, no, 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 no. You asked, and here's the answer. And now it comes so immediate because I expect it. I wait on it, you know, um,
And you
and I
believe.
believe.
That's the biggest part.
I believe.
If you don't believe, how can God give you anything if you don't trust him and you don't believe that he can?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think you can, but I don't live there anymore. So
I know that's right. You are such an inspiration. Oh man, this is so
how are you?
refreshing. We've been blessed to do some really good interviews. We haven't
Yeah.
had a lot of powerful women. We're working on it. Uh, but
Well, you are the powerful woman, so you will attract
thank
more
you.
of that.
Yes, Queen. I thank you. See, so my last question is, if you could change anything, would you?
About what?
Your life.
No, no, absolutely not. I can't even begin to tell you. I feel a little slightly emotional about it, even because every single thing that I've gone through that has happened to me has happened for me. And it's also part of how I have gotten to the place now where I feel so blessed that it's humbling. It's humbling to have had those experiences, good and bad. It is humbling because it's like those are things you can never take from me. um, and they are things that I am sure about. So while I don't, everybody's story is different. It's really just about me sharing my story with you, sharing my journey with others, in hopes that some part of that will resonate because it hasn't been perfect. And even as, quote unquote, an actress, celebrity, whatever you want to call it, I still am a human being. I still am, a mother, a sister, a wife, a daughter. I still go through the same things that other women experience. So no, I wouldn't change a thing, not a thing.
And I feel the same way. Everything that God, he already knew who we were going to be and what we were going to go through, like before we were born.
Yeah,
So to me, even the good, the bad, the ugly was preparing us for our next level.
yeah.
It may not have looked like it then.
Sure
I
didn't
tell
feel like it.
didn't girl definitely didn't feel like it. I remember losing my job, girl, and when I tell you, and nobody, very few people even knew what I was going through. I lost my job and had to have surgery after I lost my job that had no medical benefits or anything. Okay.
Wow,
And people didn't even know. And I was running BWE. No one knew it,
wow.
but God saw me through that thing. And when I tell you I came out victorious,
Yes, you did.
and he just blew my mind
Hmm.
with how he worked that out. And I'm thinking like, okay, I am, God. I have two houses, and how am I going to pay these mortgages? You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I'm telling you, so the bottom line is you can't beat God giving. That's one of my grandmother's
Yeah,
favorite songs. No matter how hard you try, and it's not always about money either.
yeah,
Your
yeah,
time, your attention, your
yeah.
love, your light. That's still giving,
That's
you
right.
know.
That's right.
So
Whatever you have, that you offer is currency. is currency. Everything has value. Everything. Especially those things that you can't buy with money.
Attention.
So
People in the nursing homes. I mean, I actually used to work in assisted living. There are people that go and visit them and sing and do Bible study. There's so many ways to give back.
yeah,
Our nonprofit focus a lot on domestic violence. And it's gotten worse in the pandemic. It has gotten really bad because now you're stuck in the house with your abuser. And it's just bad.
yeah,
And a lot of us as Black women, we don't talk about it. That
I
we
do.
just deal with it.
Yeah,
So there's plenty of ways to give back. Melinda, you have been such a blessing. Hang in there before we close out because I want to chit chat with you a little bit
you got
after
it.
the show. But
You got it.
we want to truly thank you for all that you have done to empower the queens, the sisterhood.
Yeah.
You are the epitome of a Black queen. You really are.
Thank
And
you.
thank you so much for taking this time because I know you're busy and you got a lot of stuff going on. But we're going to help you too, any way that we can. We're going to help you and continue to empower. I told you we're going to partner. We're going to do some stuff
I love
that
that.
I know God. He brought us together for a bigger purpose,
That's right.
other than the interview. I didn't take any questions because I can't see him that good. But if you guys have questions, can you see him? I don't know that anyone.
I
I'll see.
Yeah, I
Can
don't
you?
see them.
Does anyone? I can see them. Does anyone have any question that you just? I'm gonna take maybe three. If you have a question that you want to ask Melinda, you can type it in the
Oh,
comments.
there they
Uh,
are. I see them now.
you see it now? You
Oh, there
do?
they are. Oh, hi guys.
See? Yeah. Oh, they've been. I see them. They've been talking all along. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So they're giving you mad love, girl.
I see. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everyone. Awesome.
Yeah, we're actually streaming on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook simultaneously.
Gotcha. I love it. I love it.
So you can go back to my Facebook page and why don't you follow me, Black Women Empowered? And then you can
Yes.
retweet this broadcast.
Oh,
All right.
good. Oh,
So,
good. I will. I didn't know that.
what's the name of your book? You said you're
Oh,
writing
I am writing a book. I'm not going to share the name just
a
yet,
okay,
but
but it's
early
coming.
2022 you'll be able to purchase. And then also I have the affirmation cards, and the affirmation cards are really really special to me. It's like I said, it's what I have told myself over the course of 30 some odd years that has been blocking out that negativity of the world, blocking out messages, both seen, unseen, subliminal. It's one of the tools that I attribute to my success and my longevity, not just in career and business, but in life.
Somebody said, Francine Cook said she can't wait. Yeah, that's going to be a blessing. I don't know anyone that's ever, I mean, they probably have, but I don't know anyone that has affirmation cards that you can buy. I think that
Yeah,
is a
it's
beautiful
someone is
thing.
asking. It's so the website is she'sgotahabit.com. So she'sgotahabit.com.
And they can follow you on Twitter. Give them all your, where they can
Yeah,
follow
I'm
you.
Malin's World. So Malins World, across social media. On Instagram, I'm Malin's World, and then my business account is She's Got a Habit. So yeah, follow us. Like I said, we have several events coming this year and in 2022, and I would love to be able to invite you guys and involve you in the evolving of the Black
Absolutely.
woman.
I want to be there. That's going to be in California. I haven't been in
It'll be in
California.
California. Yeah, one of them will be in California, but like I said, we're going to have several. And then we have some events we're planning for 2023 as well. So, just building a network of powerful women, and so that we can be a resource for one another, because it's really up to us. It is up to us. We cannot keep looking out without.
Girl, say
for,
it.
yeah, because when we keep looking without, guess what we're going to get without.
Absolutely. Well, I hope one of them
So
is going to be in the ATL. We have a huge network in Atlanta. And so maybe we can make that happen in Atlanta.
I would love
Uh,
that. I would love
that
that.
would be really, really good. All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. God bless you. And, remember to follow us on social media. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on TikTok. We just hit 7,000 followers on TikTok. Now, I know nothing about TikTok, but
Oh, wow.
praise
That's
God.
awesome. I'm not even
I
on
know,
well, I'm on
right?
TikTok, but that's great.
Look, I don't even know how. I say, I guess I do. God did it because I really know nothing about TikTok, but I put it up and went for it. So yeah, we're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook,
Okay.
Pinterest, and LinkedIn. God bless you. Until the next time, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll be
Bye,
back again.
ladies.
God bless you.
See you all soon.